Hello and welcome to the Life and Fight of a podcast. This is a UKFC fighter edition. I'm glad to join today by Marlon Jones, who's the UKFC amateur Bantamweight champion. How's it going, Marlon?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, pal. Thank you very much. So, just like the other interviews I've done, just want to get a bit of basis about you, let people know who you are, people that may not know you or want to find a bit more about you. So, Marlon, you're now 18 years old. Which is crazy considering how long you've been in this sport already. You've got a record in MMA of 8-2. We'll discuss the record shortly. But we'll really go back in time. What got you into this sport?
Basically, my uncle was doing kickboxing at a gym. Curtis mentioned it in the other week. In a gym called Timas, and he was doing it there. And basically, he just got me into it. He just brought me down one day, and then I started training there, and I just fell in love with it. And I wanted to be there like every day after that. I can remember just training in the house, trying to learn how to skip, and then my uncle took me there, and then I just loved it basically, and stayed.
How old was that? Sorry, when was that?
I think I was like 10 when I started, so I've been training, or maybe like 9 or 10, I think.
So it's been quite a while now since you literally started any sort of martial art.
Yeah.
So you was doing kickboxing, and then what made the transition to MMA? Was it watching it? Was it someone referred you there? Was it someone did it in the gym where you was at? How did that get going?
Yeah, well, my gym, my kickboxing gym was Timas, and it was just down the road from, Phil Turner.
Yes.
He used to have a gym called LVT, and then I remember just my uncle gave him a phone call because he must have seen it on the internet or whatever, and he rang Phil one day and just asking about it. And then I went down to Phil's gym at the time, and I started training there. So I was training between Timas, and then I was going to Phil's gym at LVT like a few days a week as well, doing my MMA there and like my jiu-jitsu. And then I was there for a while, like for about a year or two, just mixing between them two gyms until Phil ended up joining with Dean, going to Aspire, and like they formed one gym, didn't they? And then I kind of just moved over with them then and stayed in Aspire full time.
So when you started moving on to MMA, what was your, obviously you were still young back then, you were still just following guidance, and you still technically are anyway, even though you're probably one of the most experienced and best amateur MMA fighters in the country right now, maybe Europe. What made you think, right, I want to step in the cage, I want to fight? What was that?
Well, I really, from when I first started, when I was younger, I just thought, yeah, I want to do this. Like, I had loads of little kickboxing into clubs and that, like, so I was quite experienced in like fighting or whatever at the time anyway. But I remember in school, like the teachers used to moan at me to like do my own work and that, but I'd be in the gym every night and I wouldn't want to do my own work because I'd just be wanting to go to the gym straight away, and there was always little problems with that. But like, I just knew that I'd wanted to fight since young, really, so I just set my mind to it and then basically just went from there.
So I think I'm right in this. So when Aspire was created between Dean and Phil, they started sort of like a youth program where you could sort of learn at a college sort of degree and education. You were one of them originals, is that right?
Yeah.
So what was that when they came up to you and they were basically saying that you can do this as a college education, but you get to do what you love? Technically, your homework is that, so you don't need to worry about that stuff anymore. What when that got proposed to you, how did you take that and what happened?
So that was like a bit the same time as when we was leaving from LVT, when LVT kind of disappeared and it became Aspire. Like, I remember it was me, Liam, and then a few of the other lads who was like training in LVT with us. We was the first year, and it was ideal for me and Liam because we was going into our sixth form, so that's like college. Yeah, so like we could just do that, and it was boss because we could train of a morning and train of a night and do like the college in between because it like started at 1 o'clock. So we'd have our like 10 a.m. session in the morning. So we was just, it was like we was improving more than anyone else. You'd have to do like go to college every day and only get like 1 or 2 sessions in. We could get them sessions in throughout the day, in the morning and then in the night. So it was boss for us. Like,
what did the education entail then? So when you trained in the morning, so basically it was like living as a pro fighter, basically. Train in the morning, train in the evening. The middle part of the education, what did that entail for you guys? Was it sitting down and learning? Was it MMA? What did it entail?
So we was just learning about coaching and how to coach. So it was like, it helped us, it helped me figure out like techniques more, because obviously when you're fighting, yeah, it's important to know how to do things and certain techniques, but when you learn how to coach people, like you understand it a bit more. And it's like when you're coaching, it's not just knowing the technique, you need to know how to teach someone it, and you need to know different aspects and how to treat different people. Like say they might be vulnerable people, like disabilities or whatever, young people, elder people. You just need to know how to like cater for everyone's needs, and we learned that in the course. And you can see like there's loads of people in the gym, there's loads of people around my age now that teach. Like Liam teaches he runs the ninjas program. He has a lot of help off the lower years, like who were learning like we was, and I take the juniors. So I used to teach the ninjas when I was younger as well with Liam, but now he's took role with that, and I run the juniors really. So it's like you're seeing progressions in his boss teaching, because you can see the kids like coming up and fighting. Like Liam runs a few, Liam and me, we do a few of the kids who fight now, and like they're dead young, and you can see them progressing in its boss, to see them learning and getting better every day.
Like you say, you mentioned about Liam, we interviewed him a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
The thing with you and Liam, and it does seem from outside looking in that you two are quite inseparable. The fact that you've come up completely the same. What's it like to have someone of that level, just like he's got you, that you can bounce off each other, you can train with each other, you can go as hard as you want, but you've known each other since you were in your early teens and you've raised to this level? What's that been like?
Yeah, having him training together, like, because he's obviously gone a little bit heavier now, but we was always around the same weight, and we're still around the same weight now, but he's been like ideal. We've been ideal for each other, having the best training partners for each other. He's now getting ranked like the highest in the country, so am I. So that's been a great help. But it's funny, like the first few times when I started going to LBC, Liam kind of had the same path as me. He trained in Hammer when he was younger, and he was kind of splitting it between the two gyms as well. So like the first few times when I'd go up on a certain day, and we always missed each other. Like we never trained with each other for the first bit, but we was both getting trained by Phil. You know what I mean? So he'd go on different days than me, and then once we ended up getting together and training together, that we kind of seen that, like, that was part of the reason maybe I moved full time to Aspire anyway, because the better training partners, and he was around he was the same age as me, so it was boss for us.
So do you feel like the combination of where everything fell into place at Aspire, so training morning, training evening, getting taught in the day, and like you say, breaking it all down for you, making you become a better coach, do you feel like that's been a main aim for you to going forward, that's going to carry on, that you're still going to keep on learning, or are you going to concentrate just on your career? What's sort of the aim going forward?
No, I'm still coaching. I still coach at the minute. Like I'm still involved in the juniors, and that I want to do that for a long time. But the main goal in my life is fighting, and I do want to make it as a top level fighter. Like that's the main goal for me. But like I'm still interested in coaching, and obviously once I've retired from fighting, that's going to be a long time. But I'd still like be able to revisit coaching then, because I know how to coach.
What's the most nerve-wracking thing for you right now? Is it fighting yourself? Is it watching someone as close as you are to Liam fight? Or is it watching the juniors which you're coaching when they compete?
I don't know. It's a bit. I don't really get that nervous when I fight. I don't know. Everyone says it. Like I don't really show much emotion or anything in my fights, or like before them. I don't really feel that much nerves myself. But I do definitely feel nervous when I'm watching, like, my training partners, Liam, and all that fighting, and the kids. It is a lot of pressure, because you don't want to see them lose, and like it's a horrible feeling seeing like your students lose. But then again, it's boss when they win. Like they're just on top of the world, and they're only young kids as well. So that probably does have the most pressure on when I'm cornering or watching the kids fight.
So the next step for you up until everything that's happened right now, was to defend the UKFC Bantamweight title against Curtis Campbell. Hopefully that will happen at some point this year, depending on how long this lockdown is going to be. What was your, obviously, Curtis mentioned in his interview a couple of days ago that you've knew each other for a long time, you sort of followed each other's careers in the kickboxing and into MMA. What's your thoughts of him as an opponent? Do you feel like it's a big test for you? What's your thoughts when that got agreed?
Well, Curtis is a good fighter. Like, obviously, he begins striking like me, but he's well-rounded. So I think he would be a tough fight. Like, I don't want them easy fights. Like, if you look at, I worked out the other day. like I've only had like 40 minutes cage time, and like, it's annoying like having them dead fast fights where I'm winning like the first round, because again that's not really what amateurs about, is it? You want to have hard fights so you're ready for pro. So it's not like I want easy fights or anything. I'm trying to find the hardest fights, and Curtis is up there at the minute. Like I was looking at the rankings the other day, and there's only like a few people who really stand out, and Curtis is one of them. So I think that it would be a good fight for me before the pro.
So we'll move on. We'll start at the beginning again with your record and how you got into it. So you've been an amateur for coincidental as that is, you made your debut
today.
3 years ago today.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So that was against Kai Collins. That was on
Yeah.
Budo, 16th of April 2017. So literally been fighting 36 months. You've had 10 amateur fights in that process. Obviously, you probably had numerous created, cancelled in that time,
Yeah.
and how active you like to be. So Kai, so what was that like going into that first fight? So you're 18 now. That would have been, presume, a different amateur rule set, being a bit younger. What was that stepping into that for the first time?
That was a bit of a mad one. Like I was meant to fight someone else. I was meant to fight JJ Young to my first fight, I think, and then I ended up fighting him again after it. But that was a mad feeling. I just didn't know what to do. Like walking in, and I remember after the one, because it was dead quick. The fight, like it happened dead fast. I ended up winning like 30 seconds, and then I didn't know how to celebrate. And I was watching the video today, like after my fight, I just jog around the cage after it, not having a clue what to do. But I've got more comfortable in the cage since then, and yeah, it was just a learning curve, really. And it's just you learn with every time you fight, whether you win or lose.
So, like you say, you've watched that today. Is that coming up on like your Facebook timeline?
Yeah, on my Instagram.
Right, okay. So then you say next up was around 2 months later in June. That was JJ Jones. That was on Cage Warriors Academy Northwest. JJ, obviously, 3 years later, is a great fighter.
Yeah.
He's durable as hell, gritty. So what was it like facing someone like JJ? Obviously, his height sometimes can make people underestimate him, but he can hit as hard as anyone. He can wrestle as good as anyone. He can grapple as good. But what was it like facing JJ at that age?
Well, that was the first time I fought him. Yeah, I can't even remember really. I remember certain points of the fight. Like you can see in my fights, I've grew like with my experience. I remember I just went in there and started to like take his head off, and that's what I did with most fights really. I remember I just running at him, just going crazy, and then I remember at one point he took me down, and I just thought, "Wow, I'm losing this fight," like just thinking like that was just going through my head, and then I ended up getting back on top, doing a big takedown on him, and then I was like, okay, that might have evened it up, and then I ended up choking him in the second round. But like so many things just go through your head in the fights, like just crazy, and I don't know, all my early fights, I was just trying to take everyone's head off and going crazy, and then getting dead tired, like, I don't know, really. Yeah.
Like you say, I think, like you say, you're frustrated that it's only been 40 minutes in the cage so far,
Yeah.
and experience is key, especially at amateur. If you, at that, you probably still, 15, 16 at that point, you're in your second fight, and already going through your head is, right, I'm doing too much, I'm trying to take people's head off, I'm getting tired, right, I need to change this up. That is great so early on, and I think you can see as you sort of raise through the fights. The third fight was Kieran Heaney, and then there's Sam Bird. What did you take away from them fights? Obviously, that was your second and third time on Cage Warriors in Liverpool.
Yeah.
What was that like, sort of being at home and then getting all that valuable experience?
Yeah, it was boss. When I had my first few fights, I was getting like started to build like, not say fans, but like me support. You know what I mean? And then it's in Liverpool, obviously you're going to sell the most tickets. And I remember just like seeing everyone, especially in that Sam Bird fight, like on the video when like they're announcing my name and that I'm in the cage, I had like a little laugh because of everyone screaming my name. It was boss. I had quite a lot of people there supporting me. And like that Sam Bird fight was a mad one. I think he was like 9-0 or 8-0 or something when I fought him.
8-0 it says here, yeah.
Yeah, and then that was quite a quick finish. Like I thought that would have been probably one of my hardest fights, mainly just because of his record. But yeah, that was when I won the belt. That one with Sam Bird, that was a boss feeling, jumping on the cage.
So that was the flyweight title, is that right?
Yeah.
So that was your first belt. You're now 4-0, and then UKFC comes knocking. We offer you the Bantamweight title on that one. The opponent's James Williams, which bit of an age difference on that one. But to me, and that was the first time I've seen you live and working with you as well, that got Fight of the Night. It's probably one of the greatest amateur fights I've ever seen. But speaking to you afterwards, obviously you fought with us a few times since then, and speaking at Empire Grappling and stuff, do you still feel like that's the best fight you've been in, or the hardest fight you've been in? What do you sort of look back on? Obviously now we're, 18 months since that fight. What was going through your head leading up to that fight, during the fight, and now looking back?
Well, yeah, that was my best fight. Even when I watch me like fights when I've won in the first round or whatever, they don't even compare to that one with James. That was like the best fight to watch, and I probably learned the most in that fight. And like leading up to that fight, I was in what was it? Marbella, with like training with Brad Pickett and all that, and Luke Barnett.
Yeah.
That was with the college course again. So like a big group of us with Phil and Dean that went over. I think we was there like the week before the fight, getting good training in. And then I had that fight, and you know what, I wouldn't change if I could. Like it was I probably learned the most, definitely, out of any of them. And it's entertaining, isn't it? Loads of people love that fight.
What I remember from towards the end of things, like start of the fourth, maybe fifth round, both of you had nothing left. Literally, you had used everything you both had and it wasn't just to try and win the fight; it was just to survive, because you knew that you both had 5 rounds. You're both trying to just finish each other, just to make it just the fight to be over. And you both were sat down after the fight in the cage, both gas, goose, give everything you ever wanted, standing ovation, and then even in the back 20, 30 minutes later, you were laid down, you had nothing left. What, like you say, you feel like it's your best fight. What was the biggest thing that you took from that fight?
I think it is that, just don't try and kill them straight away and run it. Like, it's that I was fit for the fight. Like, I've always been fit for me fights. It's just the output that I put on it. I remember in the 4th round, you can probably see on the video, I'm like having to hold my gloves together like this to keep them up. And I remember seeing 2 of them. Like, I was that tired. I was seeing like 2 pictures of him in my eyes. And
wow.
I had another 2 rounds of this to go. And if you look at the fight, I'm not sure if you remember, in the 2nd round, he like picked me up off my feet in the guillotine. I've got a picture of it where like my feet are off the floor, and then I end up getting out of it somehow, and nearly broke my neck. But you know what? I know James is pro now, but I'd be interested in having that fight again. Like, obviously he's had a few fights now, but I think once I'm pro, after I had a few and caught up to him, I'd be interested in running that back a bit.
I feel like that was a turning point for you. I think James is very experienced at that point. He'd just come off a great knockout win against Chris Whitehead to get the contendership, just like you did against Sam Bird. We were keeping an eye on all 3 at that point until they eliminated with James and Chris. James being older, probably more experienced, and maybe at that point in your life, they call it man strength, that might have been a factor. You're still growing, you're still learning. Like you say, when you turn pro, if that's ever a rematch, it could be even greater. You never know.
Yeah. I think with that fight, I wouldn't even say the strength was that much of a difference. I think it was just his experience. Maybe Adam, he paced himself in certain points where I didn't. Like, when I've watched it back, I've watched it loads now, but I like half cringe at myself sometimes, because you see me like jumping for his back, and like, because I've had a few rear naked choke finishes before that. I remember I took his back in the first round. I thought, no way, this is happening again. Like, if I'm gonna choke him now. But then after that, like, you see in the fight, I'm jumping on his back and then just falling on my head, and I had to do it so many times because I was just getting too excited with it. But then now that I watch it, I just cringe. Like, I should have been hitting him in that point, or instead of just jumping for the submission, taking me time. It might have been a different like outcome if it did take me time more, but he obviously capitalised on that. He took his time. He knew what he was doing.
So that now takes you to 4-1, but like you say, it's the greatest fight you've probably ever had. You probably learned the most from it. Next up is a rematch against JJ Jones. How did that come about, and what was it you're feeling about a rematch? Literally, it would have been 18 months after the original.
Yeah. You know what? Coming up to that fight, I just thought I was going to walk through JJ, and then there was a lot of pressure on me because obviously I'd just lost that fight, and I had a few eyes on me, like people watching me and that. So I put loads of pressure on myself for that fight, and basically went in there and done the exact same thing. Just went in and tried to take the head off and then get dead tired. But obviously I did end up winning on decision. But I remember I thought that I just finished him in the first round, and then I obviously didn't realise JJ had improved just as much as I probably did at that time, and he came on miles. And when it got to it, I ended up, I probably looked unfit again because I just started to take his head off. And when I watch, even just in like the wrestling parts, I'm moving constantly and where I just didn't need to. And I get bollocked all the time by like Phil and Dean about it. I just needs to take me time. And yeah, JJ was a heart like that night. It was, I seen how much he'd improved, and it was a good fight as well, that one.
So, based on what you said before, the 40 minutes, James Billings and JJ Jones both taking to decision. That's 30 minutes in the cage, and that's only 2 fights. And the rest of them, like you say, you've had quick fights all the way through first and second round. So after JJ returned to UKFC, you want to get in the win column in UKFC. You face Tom Wright, who's got great stand-up, great boxing. What was it like coming back to UKFC after coming off a loss there, but wanting to prove yourself? What was that like for you?
The thing is with these, there was big breaks in between, weren't they? Like, it was like a good 8 months or something because I got an injury, because I was meant to be doing the IMAS, weren't I?
Yes.
In Rome, and then I ended up getting a shoulder injury just through training. Like, someone grabbed me glove and then I fell and landed on my shoulder. I ended up in hospital and everything over that, but like, there was big massive breaks, and that was just kind of finding my feet again a bit in fighting. Like, again, straight away, even though it was only quick to fight, like, I just ran out there, forgot like what I was meant to take me time, and then I ended up throwing like some big head kick in like the first 2 seconds, and ended up like, again, still to this day, I'm not sure whether I got dropped or whether I slipped or whatever. People say I slipped, but it half looks like I got dropped, like I got clipped in like the back of my head, and then Tom jumps on me, doesn't he? He's trying to like finish, and ended up wrestling on top and getting the choke. But that was just finding my feet again, and then obviously I ended up having the George Staines one a few weeks later, didn't I?
That's what I was going to touch on. We touched that on in Liam's fight, because you're technically now swapping opponents. He's fought Curtis, you fought George. So technically, younger career, you're a flyweight. Obviously, you've grown up a little bit now. You're a bantamweight. This one's at featherweight. Explain what happened here.
No, really, I'm not gonna like make excuses. Obviously, he is a big lad, and I probably fought the fight a bit wrong, to be fair. Like, obviously, he was stepping up weights and that, but I don't know. I just fought the fight wrong. I didn't even have Dean or Phil there anyway. They was in Bahrain, because they was there for the IMAFs, and I took this fight like short notice. So like, I just got caught in like a tall choke against a tall kid. Like, it's just one of them. And again, even in that fight, when I watched it back, like, I'm still trying to go like 100 miles an hour. Like, I remember touching gloves and he just grabbed me straight away. Like, he didn't even try and throw a punch, and I thought, wow, that's it. Like, I thought he would have wanted to strike a bit. And he grabbed me, and then we ended up wrestling in the cage. And I took him down, like I hip tossed him at one point, and then I was on top, and then he ended up wrestling back up. And then, like, you see on the cage when I'm wrestling, I'm like going up and down dead quick, and where I should have just took my time with it, really, and then I ended up getting caught in a choke. But, you know, it's just one of them, really. I learned from that again, and yeah.
Do you feel like, obviously, Liam wants George next, he wants that #1 spot, he wants to prove himself. Do you feel like, because even though you've had that round with him, do you feel like that benefits you and Liam, giving that sort of first-hand advantage and first-hand knowledge of facing someone like George? You've felt him out, you know how he works. Do you feel like that benefits Liam via you?
Yeah, definitely. Like, Liam, obviously, he's big now. I reckon that'd be a good fight for Liam. George is ranked #1 in the country at the minute at his weight, isn't he? So I think they're just the fights Liam needs to have, just the same as me. We need to be fighting the best people. And like, as Liam said, he deserves that #1 spot, and I think he does. Like, he's beat the best people up to now. Like, he fought Corey, didn't he? That was a boss fight. Corey was on top for a while, and now Liam's just got that win. I think Corey's going pro soon as well, isn't he? So
yes,
that'd be good for him. But yeah, I think George probably is the one for Liam to fight at the minute. And it would be a good fight between them.
Hopefully we get it done, and on UKFC as well. I think it is the next step for Liam. It's probably the next step for George as well, both before they make any sort of step in the pro ranks. I feel like this fight should happen at amateur, because obviously there's something to lose in a loss, but like you say, amateur all about experience. You stepped up, short notice, upper weight division, just to get more experience, and you've not come away from that, and it's not stopped your career. It's just one of them. You move on. Going on after that, you're back at Almighty again. that was around 3 weeks later. Was that back in Liverpool? Was that right?
Yeah. Like, the thing is with them fights, because I missed out. I literally didn't fight for, like, what was it, like 10 months? It
10
took
months,
me,
yeah.
like, I didn't fight for that time, and then I thought, you know what? Like, the main reason I took that George Staines fight was like, I need to just cram these fights in, because I've been injured for like the whole year, so let's just get them out of the way. So I took that one. That was like 4 weeks after, or something, after Tom Wright on UKFC, and then I already had that Mackenzie one planned. So then again, I had a bit of pressure on me with Macca, but I knew I had to take my time a lot more, and like I thought I did anyway. But then you see, like in the fight, I ended up hitting him, and then I took him down, but I didn't mean to take him down. It was just weird, and then I ended up on top. And again, I thought I was taking my time here. I remember holding him inside control and just thinking, like, this has been ages, this. Like, it felt so long, but if you look at it, it's only like a few seconds on the video. And like, then I ended up moving. It was a bit of a scramble, stayed on top, and I'm punching him. I was just going crazy, punching him. Like, again, it's just what happens to me in fights. Just don't take me time. And then I remember, like, it was late in the round when I finished him, but maybe it was by the cage, and I think it was Aaron in my corner. Like, I was punching him, and then Aaron shouted, like, don't, like, slow down or you gas out. And I thought, oh yeah, I will. Actually, my arm just started slowing down when I was punching. I was like, what's going on here? And so I stopped punching for a bit, and then he ended up moving. I took his back and choked him. But that was boss winning, what was it, my second belt at Almighty in Liverpool again. I was actually the main event for that, because they had loads of pullouts on that show, and they ended up being the main event for it. But yeah, that was a boss fight, getting back in.
So after that, that puts you to 7-2 at that point. So we've been discussing probably since the James Williams fights that at some point we want to give you that bantamweight title strap again. We want to let you fight for it. But for a short period, well, for a long period of time, it turned out to be Mokiv was our champion, but because he was fighting elsewhere, the IMAFs, etc., and he was supposed to come back and defend it, things changed. He decided to vacate it, and then we put you in line for that. As a teammate, it was never going to happen, that fight, so you waited your turn. It happened against you and Mackenzie. That was around 6-7 weeks ago. So you've gone from having 10 months off, October 19, Tom Wright, 4 weeks later, George Staines, 3 weeks after that, Mackenzie, and then Christmas hits. There's nothing really going on with events. We offer you end of February, you and Mackenzie for the bantamweight title. He was 4-2, you're 7-2. You're both still growing. He's from Wales, Liverpool. What was that fight for you going into it? This you were fighting for your third belt. You wanted to get that strap, that bantamweight strap at UKFC, which avoided you and eluded you a year before. What was your thoughts going into that?
Well, yeah, I think I had a switch of opponents for that, didn't I? I think I was meant to fight someone else, but then it got changed. But yeah, I remember, like, coming out of that, I was made up because it was like, finally I'm fighting like early in the year. And if you look in the past like 2 years, one time I think I was injured I think I done my hamstring in like 2018, so I didn't fight for the first 6 months, and then last year didn't fight for the first 10 months. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a good year now. I'll get this fight out the way, win the belt, and then that'll obviously be my third belt, and I was made up with that. And then obviously this coronavirus has messed everything up, but yeah, I was looking forward to that fight, and when I got it done, I swear I was made up. I did take my time a bit more. Like, I remember Dean being made up. Everyone was made up about it after the fight. I took my time, even though it was first round, but I was like picking my shots more. I actually like jabbed in this fight. But I remember watching his, like, I looked at his Instagram story like after his weigh-in and seeing him eating all chocolates and that, and I thought, I weren't happy with it, because I was like sitting there. I've just done a big weight cut and that, and still eating boring stuff, you know what I mean? And he was eating all chocolates and milkshakes, and that, I was fuming. Like, he needs to punish for this, and then end up finishing him with a body shot. I was like, that proves a point, that. And then I remember being made up that I actually finished it with striking as well. Like every other fight it's been, well, I got one TKO, but that was still grappling really.
Oh, sorry, 1 second. I'm going to try and put it on for... So was it just over a minute?
Yeah, I think so.
So I'll quickly share the screen so people can watch it as well, and we'll quickly talk over it. What's going for you? I'll turn the volume down because that was a bit loud. 1 second. So, can you see that, Marlon?
Yeah.
So I'll quickly press play when I've shaped up. So this is around 5-6 weeks ago. Ewan on the left and you're on the right. So just I'll turn it down, but talk us through it.
Academy fighter.
Well, yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's just she actually like started jabbing. She had loads of pressure. Everyone was shouting at me in the back saying you need to take your time. And then he ends up, I think he grabs me. He ends up trying to grapple. And again, I just took my time. I was like, I'm not gonna panic and like try and get out, and ended up getting taken down. So I was like slowing down a bit, yeah. And I was getting this choke. It's like a ninja choke I was getting in the gym, and I thought, you know what, I might be able to get that in the fight. So I half go for it here, and then I just stopped, ended up just grappling a bit. Yeah, dude, he grabs me again, and this is where it like just after this is where it starts. Like the finish starts happening really.
Yeah, I think with the ninja choke, it's a great takedown defense as well.
Yeah.
It sort of puts them in a predicament where they go, right, I'm either full in or full out.
Yeah, exactly. See, so yeah, and then I turned him and kneed, and then I think that was where it started there, like to the stomach really.
So the left hand, which sort of dazed him, and then left body shot with the leg, with the knee. So obviously you was going to throw a kick anyway. It's landed as he's coming in with sort of your knee and shin.
Yeah.
So this is a replay as it's getting up. So left hand has rocked him. You know he's phased by this point. He's swinging just like you, and then bang. That was a great finish. Referee steps in, a new bantamweight champion. What was that like? Obviously, you wanted that cage experience, but getting the W, getting the win, getting the belt, that's very important as well.
Yeah.
Are you frustrated that it's that quick at that point, or are you just elated that it's done, it's over? What's going through your head?
I don't really know. I think that was just a bit of both really, because I was made up to finally have a striking one. And again, I still felt like I took my time, so I learned off that fight again. Like, even though it was short, and like I kind of look stupid saying that I took my time, but I did. Like, you can see me striking. I weren't like running at him. I was letting him come forwards and stuff and picking me shots more. Even when I hit him, I dropped him, and then he starts backing off. Usually I just sprint at him, but I just took my time moving back over to him, and then picked me shots again, which got the finish. So yeah, again, I do want the long fights, but I'll get them. I'll probably get them this year, and I still want the hardest opponents, but you can't exactly complain getting early finishes, can I? Too much.
So that puts you to 8-2. That's sort of where you're at with your career right now. Like you said, you wanted to keep busy. We had you booked in for the end of May against Curtis Campbell to defend your belt, which would have been one of the best fights people would ever see based on the youth of yourselves. And you never know, based on your age as well, that could be a trilogy at some point. You might keep on fighting each other. The lockdown's now hit, the coronavirus, COVID-19. What are you doing right now to keep yourself busy at home? Have you got any equipment? What's going through your head?
Well, I'm half lucky because my uncle, he's my S&C coach as well, and he done kickboxing and that himself, so he can take me on the pads and that. And I've just got weights and that in mind, so I just do like some kettlebells and stuff with him. So it's not too bad. Like, I've just got my bike sorted the past few days as well. I've had a pop tyre for ages, but I've got that sorted now, so I can go out on my bike a little bit more as well. So I just need to burn the days away, and it's boring, and just sitting in. I can't stand it.
I'm guessing, like Liam mentioned in his interview, that the only time you're ever at home is maybe to grab a bit to eat in the evening and sleep. The rest of it, you're in Aspire, you're training, you're teaching, you're training, and then you're home. What else are you filling your days with? Are you doing stuff that you wouldn't normally done or not done in years? Some people said the gaming, some people are watching TV series, listening to music, reading, doing the house. What are you doing with your time?
I don't know, just sometimes I might go on the PS with like a few of the lads or whatever, but watching telly and that really just, I don't know, I just try and just do anything to just keep myself active. I spend like an hour in bed, and then my legs will start hurting, and then I just can't stay in. So it's like now I just go out on my bike or something, or just try and do something. You get bored of being on the PS after like half an hour. Like, your eyes start going and that, so I don't know, it's hard work. Like,
what are you sort of stuff? What are you watching on TV at the minute? Are you watching any series or films?
I don't even know. been watching that Elementary, like a Sherlock Holmes thing. That's all right.
Yeah, it's two main characters, the male and female. Is that right?
Yeah. And like Ray Donovan and all that, they're good. But I don't know, I just try and watch anything really. Anything. Like once I've finished that, I'll just move on to something else. Just go through major series and that during this time, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. So with regards to the lockdown and coronavirus, it's still up in the air when this will end, how it will affect everything. I think as an event, as UKFC and other events like Empire Grappling as well, we want to get going as fast as possible. We're twiddling our thumbs as much as the next person. What was your aim for the year, fight-wise? How many? And what do you think it will now be?
Yeah, well, I was meant to be I wanted to get more active on the grappling scene again this year. Like, I haven't done a grappling competition in a while, and I signed up for the Empire.
Yeah,
That's been cancelled,
March.
hasn't it? But yeah, I wanted to get this second fight of the year with Curtis, and then probably have about 3 more. Just try and fit as many as I can within reason, because you don't want to be fighting like every weekend, do you? But you want to get as many fights in, as much experience. And I was aiming to go pro next year. Probably will still end up doing it, just as long as I get the cakes down and get the hardest fights. Because if you look at it, it's probably best for me to like be fighting for the titles, or probably defend my titles from now, like whichever ones. Because that's the most likely for a pro fight, isn't it? Yeah, you get the hardest fights, but it's more similar time because you're still fighting for 15 minutes, aren't you? Just a different round time. But like again, I wanted like about 5 more fights before I turn pro, because you don't want to rush it. I'm still young, but I don't want to take too long either. And obviously this coronavirus has slowed everything down, but as long as I get like 4 more fights, it could be like halfway through next year when I turn pro. Just got to listen to me coaches and that. They can see when I'm ready. And then,
what's it like being under like Dean and Phil and at Aspire?
You know what, like probably like I'm not dissing any other coaches, but they're probably one of the best in the UK. Like I don't think Phil gets enough credit as what he should do. To be fair, like a lot of people already know Dean, but when I like mentioned Phil, like when they ask me who's my coaches or whatever, I mention Phil, like not many people know. Obviously, yourselves will know him through the shows and that, but yeah, I don't think Phil gets enough credit as he deserves. To be fair, like
I agree with that.
Yeah, he's like, I love doing his sessions. He's like the best coach that I've been trained by, and he takes a lot of time for like me and Liam. Say, like we've been with him since LVT, and you can see like the progression that me and him have made. Like it's obvious, it's mainly down to Phil, and I just think he deserves more gratitude. To be fair.
So obviously with Phil and LVT, he at that point when he created that gym, or just before, he had his own grappling comp in Grapplers Games, and he sort of transitioned that in-house to LVT. He's been around. He's done a lot for this sport and a lot for Liverpool MMA and the grappling scene and the young fighters as well. So I think you're correct in that. I think sometimes he's like the hidden gem of Aspire. Everyone knows who Dean is. He's one of the most. He's on social media all the time. He's fought all over the world, and he's probably one of the best featherweights in the country at pro. But I agree with the comments on Phil. We'll move on to the last stages, really. I'll do some quick fire questions with you, and then it's 10 questions. Just answer them. What first thing comes to your head? You've already technically answered one of them, which you'll know in a minute. But the first one: ketchup or brown sauce?
Ketchup.
Mayonnaise or salad cream?
Neither.
City break or beach holiday?
Beach holiday.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation. All the way.
When you eat, fork in your left hand or your right hand?
Left, I think. I think so. Left-handed there.
Yeah, I'm left-handed as well. Shower or bath?
Shower.
Gi or no gi?
No gi. I've lost all love for gi, to be honest recently.
Submission victory or knockout?
Knockout.
A war or a quick finish?
War.
And then the infamous question: Anderson Silva or GSP?
Anderson Silva, I reckon.
Wow, the first to answer Silva in all this. Nice one for that. Go on, what was you going to say? Why did you prefer Silva?
I reckon he's just a bit more fun. I don't know, I prefer the striking out of them, really. I think they're both boss fighters. They are both boss fighters. I like watching them both, but I don't know, I like watching Silva a bit more.
Fair enough. Right. So before we let you go, then, anyone you'd like to thank, sponsors, teammates, anything like that?
Yeah, so obviously all my coaches and that, and then so like Phil, Dean, and then I've got like me S&C coach, my uncle Charles, and I've got like my boxing coaches and that. All that they all know that I'm grateful for them. But then obviously my sponsors and Zone Nutrition, he's been looking after me since after my first fight, so coming on like 3 years now, you know. He's like done more than I could ask for, to be fair. My gutter guy sponsor and optics, windows and doors.
Sweet.
That's it, really.
If people have just only met you because of this, or know sort of a bit about you, or want to know a bit more about you, can they follow you on social media? What's your social media handles?
So my Instagram, Marlon Jones 3. My Facebook's just Marlon Jones. Again, I'm the same as Liam. I don't really know how to use Twitter yet, so gotta get that down soon.
No stress. Thanks for your time, Marlon. Hopefully back at it, all of us, as soon as possible. But stay safe and keep in touch.
You too.
Nice one, pal.
Peace.